All right, hello everyone. My name is Ben Firestone. I am a junior currently, and I'm majoring in architecture. Um, and so for this first food presentation, I decided to try and research Palak Paneer, which is a northern Indian dish. And the dish I had was frozen, and I bought it at Publix. But it was very good, and I enjoyed eating it and trying it. So starting with the presentation here, the history and culture of the dish. So like I said, Palak Paneer is originally from northern India, the Punjab region, which you can see on this picture here is this northern region here, and then zoomed in on this lower part of the picture, you can see this kind of convergence of rivers in this part of the country, and that's pretty important to why this dish originates there, and I'll explain that later. So the name of the dish, Palak Paneer, in Hindi translates into English to spinach with cottage cheese, and that's pretty much exactly what it is. Of course, with a little more complexity, but that's the overall dish. So moving on, paneer, which is in the name of the dish, is a type of Indian cottage cheese, which was traditionally started being made there in the 17th century when the Portuguese actually came to the country of India and started to teach and show the locals cheese making techniques. Um, and also the prevalence and worship of cattle in India and Hinduism um, creates a lot of dairy in the country. So there's a lot of dairy in India, and this dish puts that to a good use. And then the other main part of the dish, spinach, which is what makes it green, like in the previous photo, um, originates from traditional cooking methods dating back to 2000 BCE, when they started to simmer leafy greens such as spinach, fenugreek greens, and mustard greens with yak's milk. Um, and so there's two kind of similar dishes in India with different similar names. The paneers, palak paneer, which is what I tried, is primarily simmered spinach, and then there's sag paneer, which I had heard of also, which is it just has more greens mixed in it. So in this case, mustard greens and fenugreek greens are also included in that dish. And today, instead of yak's milk, the greens, in this case spinach, is commonly simmered with milk or heavy cream. Um, and this, like I said, puts a lot of dairy components to good use. It is completely vegetarian, so replacing, in this case, chicken or any other type of meat with um, cheese cubes, paneer, allows the dish to be vegetarian, but also have a heartiness and allows you to get full from the dish, which is pretty interesting. So moving on to the nutrient composition of the dish, one serving of palak paneer, about 1 cup, has about 366 calories, 30 grams of fat, 11 grams saturated fats, and then trans fats, 0.6 grams, 10 grams of carbs, 15 grams of proteins, which is pretty good, 2.6 grams of fiber, and that primarily comes from the spinach, which is pretty high in fiber, and then vitamins and minerals, 139% vitamin A, 50% vitamin C, and then you have around 50% calcium. And as you can see from this ingredient chart, to the right of the slide, spinach is the #1 ingredient in the dish, following the cheese, the paneer, and then you have a lot of the kind of additives in the dish to add complexity of flavor and such. Relationships to disease. In my research, I didn't really find any direct relationship between the dish causing a disease. I guess if the dish was made improperly or unsanitarily, you could maybe get sick from it. Um, but overall, I actually found the opposite, in that the dish is pretty healthy compared to other dishes. Spinach, as we all know, is a pretty healthy leafy green. It contains a lot of antioxidants, and these can lower cholesterol levels and blood pressure. Spinach also contains folate, which is a compound that is also very good for cardiovascular health. And like I said before, spinach is pretty high in fiber, which is good for digestion. So moving on to the ingredients within the dish, the primary ingredients are of course paneer cheese and spinach, but there are also some other ingredients that are used to make the dish taste really good. And in this case, it's onion, ginger, garlic, also some fresh chilies, and then Indian food is known for having really complex flavors, and this is mostly due to the use of a lot of very interesting spices. In this case, turmeric powder, cumin seeds, Indian bay leaves, dried black pepper, dried fenugreek leaves, garam masala powder, and then some salt and sugar. And the sugar is optional, but a lot of the recipes I looked at had around a tablespoon of sugar added at the end. So agriculture, um, the main ingredient, of course, is spinach in the dish. Um, and I was surprised to learn that spinach actually grows most of the year in India. I guess it's because of the climate there. But spinach is at its best in India March through May, and then September through October. So I would imagine in the northern part of India, um, these would be the best times to have that dish. And going back to some of the rivers I was talking about that are located in the Punjab region of India, these rivers allow such good leafy greens to be grown there because of how fertile the land is from I guess, all the years that water has kind of moved silt and minerals over the area. So that's a reason why um, this particular region of the country grows spinach, and later culturally they started using it in dishes in food. And of course, dairy is the other primary element in the dish, and dairy is an all-year kind of thing there. There's a lot of cattle, and they get dairy all year. So the preparation of the dish is pretty simple. First, spinach is blanched in boiling water, and in this case, that just means boiling it for a couple of minutes and then putting it in an ice bath to stop the cooking. And it stays super green when you do this, adding to the color of the dish. Next, that's put in a blender with the ginger, garlic, and green chilies, and that's all kind of mixed together and pureed into a smooth sauce. Next, onions and garlic are sauteed in a pan with some oil, and once that's all nice and brown, the puree of spinach is then added to the pan, kind of cooking that really quickly. This is then allowed to simmer, and then the spices are added, and allowing that to cook and simmer for a while. And then finally, the paneer cubes are chopped up. Paneer usually comes in a small block or cylinder, and that is cut up into cubes, and then that is added to the paneer sauce, or I'm sorry, the palak sauce. And after that, the dish is pretty much done. Heavy cream or milk can then be added, and that can simmer for a little bit. But yeah, after that, the dish is done and can be served with rice or some type of Indian flatbread. So tasting the dish I tried, I really enjoyed it. Put it in the oven because it was frozen. But overall, I thought it was pretty delicious. It was my first time trying the dish, and I would definitely have it again. Traditional ways of eating the dish, it can be eaten for breakfast, lunch, and dinner in India. I thought that was pretty cool. So it's truly an all-day kind of thing there, which is not common for a lot of the foods we eat here in the United States. And it is usually served with rice and some sort of flatbread, in this case, naan or roti. And here's a picture of the actual dish I tried. In this case, it came with some yellow rice on the side, and it was delicious. I highly recommend trying it. And then a quick comparison of my culture and then the cultural aspects surrounding this dish. So I think this dish is truly kind of a cultural food in that it utilizes regional ingredients and cooking techniques that are truly regional. And a lot of these dishes that I think people will be researching will find, similarities to this. And I think it's something we don't really see a lot today, or I don't see a lot today in the United States, that a lot of the foods we eat don't really have any significance to a culture of our own or an area. But in this case, Palak Paneer is truly a food that is born out of a place and the kind of aspects that surround that place. In this case, the fertility of their land, the plants that grow there, or the animals that live there and that are cultivated. So I think that's extremely interesting, and it was cool to kind of learn about that as the research went on for me. References that I used. Yeah, and so I hope that whoever's watching this definitely give Palak Paneer a try. It was a delicious dish. Yeah, thank you for watching. References that I used. Yeah, and so I hope that whoever's watching this definitely give Palak Paneer a try. It was a delicious dish. Yeah, thank you for watching.